Welcome to Chugging Along with me, Tim.
And me, Sam.
So yeah, thank you very much for your comments on last week's video and encouragement about our breakdown, and really appreciate your enthusiasm for this week's special episode.
Absolutely. But before we do get into today's special episode, we have to say congratulations, because Tim has become an uncle. And so congratulations to Henry and Abby. Henry is Tim's brother and Abby's his wife, and they are the proud parents of baby Kai. So congratulations.
Yeah, we're looking forward to Kai coming on board one day.
So, Tim, what's today's video about?
Well, yeah, today's video is a competition between me and Sam, and it's cooking on top of our diesel fireplace. So now we're on our boat in winter, we have the fire on most of the day, and it is a popular thing to do, is to put a pan on top of it and cook meals in quite a traditional old-fashioned way. And when we've discussed this between each other, we've had disagreements about what should go into the pot.
So that's part of the reason why we wanted to have this competition, because we have our diesel fireplace, we want to make use of it, and also, you know, we both really love food, and a large part of our relationship was made up of going out and eating, sampling lots of different foods, because we were living in Asia where it's a lot cheaper and to go outside and have dinners and to have meals, and it's a lot more commonplace. One
thing we do disagree on is food. That is the one thing that we can come to blows on. So this is the perfect format for us today.
So Tim, how do you rate yourself as a cook?
Yeah, I see. Well, it's been quite an interesting road for me and cooking. When I went to culinary school, and by that I mean GCSE food,
of course,
I feel like I didn't really pay attention and learn the basic skills. So that has hindered me going forward in life. I do see myself as an innovator. I don't cook much, but when I do, I will always create something new. I want to create something that's never been served up before.
Can be quite risky though, I think. You know, having that innovative approach can lead to new things, new ideas. But
yeah, but like you said with food, like we were saying when we lived abroad, and food and travel, food is all about memories. So let's try and create a memory. Let's try and create something special. You're tipped to be the big favourite to be this week's winner. So how do you rate yourself as a chef or a cook?
Oh, right. Interesting you use the word chef. Well, do you know what? Actually, I think, for me, I really enjoy cooking. I was that person who, I think like many of us, you sort of learn how to cook when you're in your late teens, early 20s, start cooking some simple meals, and then you get to a point where you start going out to restaurants and start thinking, oh, I like that. Or you watch a TV cookery show and you think, oh, I like what they've done there. So you try and bring some of that into your cooking, into your own cooking. So that's what I have done, basically. I've tried to take on different things that I've seen either from watching or from eating, and I've tried to infuse that into my own cooking. I feel my cooking comes from a place of love. I really enjoy making dishes for people and for them to enjoy eating them, and for me to see their reaction whilst they're eating it as well. So I guess you could call me more of a home cook, but do you know what?
Yeah.
There's nothing bad, nothing wrong with being a home cook. So I think most of the satisfying dishes that you can get come from home cooking, actually.
No, I see. So yeah, it almost is a sort of war on the outlook that we have, isn't it? So what we're not going directly in competition. It's, you know, we have both got our own styles, which is very interesting.
Yeah. It's basically Heston Blumenthal versus Delia Smith.
Yeah, that's true, actually. Yeah. A very important thing to remember is that today is a competition, okay? And the people voting will be you, the audience. So you want to stick around to a bit later so I can tell you how to cast your vote, okay? It's very simple, and you can choose between us who you think is going to win. So the criteria that we're going to follow, and we're also going to critique each other, we're going to follow, is a CFP technique. So it's concept, flavours and presentation. So if you keep that in mind when you're watching how the cooking's going and everything like that, you got to channel your inner food reviewer. Just imagine you're walking into a really nice restaurant with a clipboard and a pen behind your ear, thinking that your opinion really matters. That's what you got to channel today.
So basically, which of our meals do you think will be served up in a Michelin-star restaurant? That's what Tim's
No,
going to
it's
say.
not about that. It's about the CFP technique. It's about which one had a better concept, which one had better flavours, and which one had better presentation. Disagreements again.
So let's actually move on to how we made our dishes. So unfortunately I drew the short straw. I had to go first. I think I went first because I think Tim wanted to sneakily watch what I was doing so he could pick up some cooking skills along the way. Maybe I'm wrong, right?
Do you know what I mean? This is...
First thing I did with my meal was chop my red onion and my mushrooms. That was quite easy to do. Then after that, I had to prepare the crock pot with some oil. I used 2 different types of oil for that. Sunflower oil and olive oil as well. One for the flavour and one just to help with the general cooking, I suppose, of the chicken, because olive oil takes a bit longer to heat up. And then once the crock pot got hot enough, I had added in the onions and the mushrooms to that. And then I got my chicken, seasoned up my chicken with a bit of salt, a bit of pepper on there as well, and just a few bits and pieces as well. And then I popped that into the crock pot for it to start cooking away. Once the chicken started getting a bit brown and started getting a nice colour on it, started sizzling away, then what I did was I added in my sherry. So I had about a cup, half a cup actually, of sherry that I added to the dish, and I waited for that to cook down, for the alcohol to actually just burn off. And I think I left it for about 10 minutes, and after about 10 minutes I then added in some stock cubes which I had put into water as well. Not that much, I think I only put about 150 millilitres in there. So I left that dish to sit for about another 15 minutes just for the flavours to start infusing. I added some tarragon into the dish as well, just to give some lovely bit of herbaceous flavouring to it as well. And then once that was done, after about 15 minutes, I then added my cream of chicken soup. Now this is the first time I actually had included soup into a sauce. Normally when I've done it, I've used single cream, which I suppose most people would use, but I find sometimes it curdles. So I read a tip somewhere about using a can of soup to sort of give the creaminess to a dish without getting the curdling effect. So I added in the cream of chicken soup, and sure enough, no curdling, and that bubbled away nicely for another half an hour, I think it was, about 45 minutes. And whilst that was bubbling away, I then moved on to my sides. So first we tackled the kale. So for the kale, that was quite easy. Just wash the kale into a frying pan. It went with some olive oil and again some seasoning, some salt, some pepper, and also some garlic paste. I like to put a little bit of garlic paste in there just to give some extra flavour. And then once that had cooked down after about 5 to 10 minutes, just whilst to make sure it's still a bit crunchy, it still had a bit of bite to it, and it still had its colour. But once that was cooked quite nicely, I then started on my paprika potatoes, and for that I used something quite controversial. Rather than getting fresh potatoes and peeling them, we actually use canned potatoes, and the reason why we do that is because we hear that they are the boater's choice, in the sense that they are already cooked, so you don't really have to worry about boiling them and using up gas to boil them and peeling them, and they're quite versatile. There's a lot you can do with them.
They last for a long time as well, don't they? You can just keep them stored in the cupboard. I
then seasoned them in the paprika, the pepper, the salt, a tiny bit of garlic in there, with a bit of olive oil, and then just fried them up on the frying pan. And I was looking for a nice gold crispy sort of texture on the outside. Just a little bit, not to have them overdone, but enough for them to have a bit of crunch when you're going in there to taste them. And that took about another 5 to 10 minutes. And then once that was done, my chicken had finished, and so it was ready to serve up my meal. for scrutiny.
Then it was time for me to start cooking. So mine had two separate entities. Obviously I had the Thai curry and I had the bread sauce as well. So it would be the Thai curry that would be cooking on the crock on top of the stove. So that was what I was going to start to prepare first. So the first thing that I did was put some sunflower oil in the crock, quite a lot, some might say.
Quite a bit.
Yeah, so then I put that onto the fireplace just to sort of stop that going and heat up. And I came back into the kitchen area and started seasoning my chicken. And my favourite kind of seasoning is Chinese 5-spice. I love the sweetness of it, the sort of spiciness of it. It almost smells Christmassy and Asian at the same time. Two things that I love. So I rubbed that into the chicken with a little bit of pepper as well. So then after that I took my seasoned chicken and put that into the hot oil and just sort of let that cook, put the lid on and let that cook for a little bit, for a few minutes. Waited till it started to sort of brown off to sort of get that sort of nice and sort of nice sort of cooked meat sort of taste. Then lifted it up. Then I put in the Thai green curry. So I poured half a jar of just to let that sort of soak in those sort of Thai intense flavours. After that it was time to add the coconut milk. So that was what kind of made it kind of thick and creamy and effectively into a curry. Thought I was only going to use 1/4 of a can, but I ended up using half a can just because, yeah, it smells so nice, and I just wanted to make it a little bit thicker, I thought, as well.
Yeah,
the more I was sort of stirring it in. So yeah, then that was my coconut curry. All I had to do now was let the chicken cook and let everything sit and just let it soak up all that marvellous Thai flavour. So I left that there. So now it was time for me to go back into the galley and start on my ready bready sauce. So the way that you cook bread sauce, I didn't realise it's actually quite simple. You separate into two segments, your wet and your dry. So the first thing I did was prepare my dry segment. So it's the breadcrumbs, and then I chopped up half a chilli to make it nice and spicy, finely cut. Lots of parsley as well. You saw me chopping up lots of parsley. And Sam actually had some leftover onion from her meal, so I took that because yeah, finders keepers. And yeah, I chopped everything up as fine as I could, as you can see, using the A1 chef technique, which is my favourite way how to chop things. So that all went in to the dry bone. Oh, and of course a bit of nutmeg as well for the flavouring, so a bit of nutmeg mixed in there as well, so that would be very nice, and salt and pepper. So that was the dry bit. Now it was time to cook up the wet mixture, so that is milk, single cream and lots of sriracha sauce. So sriracha sauce is a sauce that's based on chilies itself. It's not tomatoey at all, it's just based on chili. It's got a bit of sweetness to it as well. It's got a bit of sugar in there, and it's my favourite sauce. I use it on lots, and I really really like it, and I knew that was the key to make it sweet, spicy and red. So I put lots of that in there and got that mixing up. So by the time that was boiled and I was sort of almost satisfied with the colour, it was almost pinky, it wasn't as bright red, but I was still quite happy, it was still ready and bready. Then it was time to add the dry ingredients in. So they went in, and then all you've got to do next is stir and stir and stir. I did get into a bit of a panic a few minutes in. I thought it wasn't actually going to turn into bread sauce. I thought I put too much liquid in, and I thought, oh no, it's just going to be some sort of like wet soup. And I was thinking about putting more breadcrumbs in there, and Sam actually saved me from doing that during my panic, saying no, you shouldn't do that, it will turn, it will turn. So I have to thank Sam for that, because it did eventually turn into bread sauce. It looks like something you find on a floor outside of a kebab shop on a Friday night, but for whatever reason I was still happy with I'd actually made bread sauce, I mean, in my own way. So yeah, that was ready to go, and by the time that I'd finished my bread sauce, I went over to the fireplace and saw that my curry was done as well. So it was time to serve it up. I put too much of the curry on the plate. There was way too much green liquid on the then I did the bread sauce, so it was sort of like the liquid was sort of mixing with the gloop, and I was like, okay, I need some crunch, I need some solid. My main sort of criticism of what I thought had come true. So I added a last minute addition of tortilla chips to add the crunch, and I think that worked really well in the end, because ultimately I had the green Christmas tree, which was the Thai green curry. I had the ready bready sauce, which represented Father Christmas. And the triangular yellow tortilla chips came together to make the star on the top of the Christmas tree. So I thought that blended so well.
I think you deserve an Oscar for the way you just described the way the dish looked. So before we actually move on to how you can actually vote for which dish you think was best, we're actually going to critique each other's dish. Because obviously, you know, you have to taste in order to know which one you like and which one tastes better.
Yeah.
So we went through our criteria again, which is concept, the flavour and the presentation. So with that in mind, we went through, taste each other's dishes first before the other one could.
Yeah.
And talked about them.
Okay, so I'm going to review Sam's meal first. So first of all, let's go on to the concept. And I think it's clear to see that, Sam, with the concept, you played it incredibly safe. It tasted like a meal you had cooked me before, and I do love your cooking. I really do think it's delicious. I think you've gone with a winning formula, so that does have to be somewhat respected. Okay, so I'm going to try it here. I'm quite excited to try it. I think Sam's done a great job. So yeah, first let's try the sauce first. So let's get a bit of the potato and the paprika and a bit of the sauce. First thing you notice, as expected, as you saw with the preparation, a lot of garlic in there. Very, very, almost quite French, especially with the tarragon as well. Definitely French inspired. That might have been from when we watched Rick Stein's Secret France. So yeah, no, I think it's very good. The potatoes, let me show some on them. Paprika's very good. It actually contrasts with the tarragon and the sort of mushroom sauce quite well. I really like that, and of course fried kale, something that I always just really like anyway. So lovely. So let's get into the chicken. Okay. Wow. I have to say, that is very... I love tarragon and chicken. The thigh is actually my favourite part of the chicken as well. So yeah, no, I have to say, although this is a competition, this is actually the exact type of thing that I do like. So yeah, that is very nice indeed. I do have one slight criticism of the flavour, which would be that you had three things on there, didn't you? You had the crock thing with the sort of the chicken and the sauce.
Yep.
You had the potatoes and you had the kale. All three of those included quite a lot of garlic, and I think one of the three, it would have been quite nice to have had a break from that intense garlicky taste.
Thank you very much. I think I'll take that criticism, and I'll take all the positive points that you've said as well, and I'm glad you enjoyed the meal. In fact, I think I remember you saying wow when you were eating it to show how much you enjoyed it.
Yeah, because I think
I think you really did enjoy the meal from what I remembered. But don't
vote for it or anything like that. But yeah, it was nice.
But anyway, I'm glad that you did enjoy the meal, and like I say, it was made with love. So moving on to Tim's meal. Right. Well, first things first, I will talk about how it looks. I definitely think you got the ready and the bready aspect and the colours right that you mentioned. I can definitely see the green in the Thai green curry, which is lovely to see, and I can see the red that's going on in the bread sauce. So well done on getting that. I quite like the colour contrast actually. It's quite playful. So yeah, that's very good. So yeah, I'm just thinking where to start. I think what I'm going to do first, I'm actually going to start with the bread sauce because I'm quite curious about the bread sauce.
Okay.
So I'm going to see how that is first. Let's go in there and have a little bit of bread sauce. Ooh. It's got a kick to it, but it's very nice, very fragrant. It's got a lovely flavour to it. I think you've done very well on the bread sauce actually. I might have a little bit more. Very good, well done. Excellent. Let's get in there and try it. Let's get a little bit of skin on there as well. Thai green curry, yeah, that was very good. It's nice. Yeah, I like it. And not too overwhelming in terms of Thai green curry flavours, which is actually quite good because I think your ready bready sauce packs that much of a punch that you kind of need that balance. So I think it balances out quite well. This actually has quite a, with the coconut milk, it's actually got quite more of a smoother flavour, which goes quite well with the very bready sauce. So what I'm going to do is try them all together now. So get a bit of chicken on there. Actually, I've got to say, I think you've done a pretty decent job here actually, Tim. I know you don't cook very often.
I have to have a bit. New idea for nachos, anyone?
If I could have one criticism about the bread sauce though, I think it was one thing that you did in the preparation that you probably ought not to have done, and that was the bay leaf. Now, I could see you whilst I was filming, I could see that you're chopping the bay leaf down. I thought, well, I'm not too sure if that's what the recipe calls for. And sure enough, I think you told me later on that actually you were just meant to put the whole bay leaf in and take it out.
So yeah, I definitely made a mistake with that. Fair play.
But,
Yeah.
but do you know what? I mean, it's fine. I
You
didn't
actually
choke.
took a bit out.
Well,
Yeah, didn't you? Later on, you're like, I've got a bit of bay leaf. So yeah, that was bad.
That's alright, it could have been worse. And it was okay, I didn't choke, so it was fine. I did really enjoy the ready bread sauce. So for me, to you, I think that was a great dish that you put together. How can our viewers vote for the best meal?
Yeah, that's right. It is time for you to vote and crown this year's, or however often we do it. Might do it twice a year. We're supposed to do it once a year probably. This year's the first ever Diesel Fireplace Stovetop Cook-Off competition winner. So the way that we're going to do the voting is going to be in the comments section. I think that's the easiest way to do it. So if you choose who you want to vote for by putting our names in capitals at the start of your comment. So if you want me to win, Tim, T-I-M, capital letters at the start of the comment. Sam to win, S-A-M, capital letters at the start of the comment. If you don't want to leave a comment, you just want to write the name in capital letters, that's also fine as well. We will count the votes 1 week after the video is uploaded. So if you are watching this video and it's over a week old, sorry that that you can't see the or you can't be involved in the voting process. But if you are nice and early, then please cast your votes. We're very excited to see who is going to win this competition.
If you'd like the recipes for the meals that we've made today, then drop us a comment as well about that. I'm sure you're all eager to try Tim's ready bread sauce.
Yeah, who wants to do ready bready sauce? Look,
It's actually quite tasty. You might as well have the recipe.
I'm willing to share ready bready sauce with the world.
You could start a craze actually.
Yeah, you never know. You never know.
But thank you very much for watching today's video. We hope you've enjoyed it as much as we enjoyed making it and eating the dishes,
it, yeah.
dishes as well. No matter what you do in life, you got to remember
To keep chugging and vote for Tim.
me.
Vote for Tim. T-I-M.
S-A-M.